I get the question so often, like, Flo, how do I get my first client? It's exactly that way. Hello friends and welcome to a new video. Today I have a guest with me on the vlog. And if you remember, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I announced this reacting to your video challenge, right? If you haven't seen the video, I'm gonna link it up here. And there was this one guy, Adam, who took really big commitment and recorded himself on a day in Frankfurt while he went to all sorts of different cafes to take pictures for them and then eventually get paid for it. And in case you haven't seen the reaction video, in the very end I invited him to come over and tell us a little bit about how he got the idea to do this, because I think many of you would benefit from doing something very similar. And today is actually the day where he's gonna come. So let's pick him up right now and then we're gonna get into today's video. And I think we found him.
Because I'm starting.
Yeah, come on.
Hi, Flo.
Okay, we found him. First step though, we need to find a parking spot. And then we get into the topic of today's video, which is to help you to find your first clients as well, just like he did. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit how I did and started out in the beginning to get my first couple of clients. I think you can take that one. And now he's already exactly doing what he seems to be doing best. Because after I checked out his video, I went to his Instagram and I saw that he's taking really good pictures. And that's also one of the reasons why he's here today, because we're gonna take a couple of pictures for me, because I've been slacking very much on my Instagram game and I thought I could really use some good Instagram pictures. And that's exactly what Adam's already doing right here, so...
I've got my game face on.
So we're gonna be heading out now and then Adam's gonna tell you a little bit about that day when he recorded that video, because I think that's exactly the right way that many of you should try as well, but might have too many excuses to actually go out and do it. Since I recently built this super fancy video rig, we're gonna take some cool pictures with that one today. Why don't you take this, Adam? Because I'm gonna take my backpack and then... so heavy to get it? Okay, let's go out. Okay. So all of you, first thing, a big welcome to Adam. And why won't you just quickly tell us that story from your video? For me, that was really impressive to see what you did there. Tell them a little bit about it.
Basically, I wanted to take part in this challenge that Florian set up, but I had no idea what I really wanted to do, and I was feeling, I don't know, a bit stagnant at home. But then I thought I would really like to have another client, and at the moment here in Germany we have all these hip looking coffee shops developing in the big cities, so I thought why not check the internet for the next big city, which was Frankfurt, near me, for some cool looking coffee shops. Looked 15 coffee shops up that looked really nice, and went straight to Frankfurt to ask them if they wanted anything.
When I saw his video, the first thing that comes into my head then at that moment is that I would have probably never had the courage to just boldly go into a whole bunch of stores, go to the owner and say, hey, I want to talk to the boss. Can I please take some pictures for you? Because the chances are so big that you're just gonna get up a straight no. And he actually did. But he kept doing it. And then tell us about that one store where they actually said yes to you.
Yeah, it was so crazy because, I mean, I had these 15 stores lined up and then like the first 7, I don't know, they just all said no. And I was starting to feel really pissed off and I was like, oh, this is just not going to work. And then there was this one store and I just walked in and the boss was like, yeah, just tell me what you charge and get going. Tell me what you charge and get going. It was so weird.
How much did you get paid for that one?
80 euros flat.
You can't say anything else?
No, it's fine.
And that's exactly why I thought today it would be super valuable for you to hear his story. Now we're gonna get into the photo shoot and we're gonna continue talking about this because there's a lot more for you to learn. And then I'm gonna talk a little bit about how you can actually apply this to your situation. He's giving very good instructions. That's always super important when you do photo or video work. Give instructions. Okay, tell me about it. What do you see?
So basically what we have here, we have really nice symmetry, right? And these poles can look really, really cool. Got a lot of textures. And then we have the light right behind of you, because that's the sun. And then I think it would look cool if I take pictures behind you with the sun backlighting yourself.
Totally looks like he knows what he's doing, so I'm all up for it. That definitely looks like we're going somewhere.
I can smell your perfume when you pull me close. Your breath against my neck.
The thing is though that what you've seen in his video might have been the successful day, but that's not always the case. So tell me a little bit about what you just told me, that you also tried this before and it did work.
Yes, so anyway, this one time last week I went to Cologne and I thought, oh, I'd do the same thing that I did in Frankfurt, just go and ask some coffee shops. And I wrote down again 15 and I thought, all right, then one will probably say yes. well, I went to 15 and I got 15 no's.
That's bitter, right?
It is.
But does it discourage you from continuing to try this?
Well, on the one hand, while you're doing this, it will feel terrible. It will really suck. But the thing that I always think to myself is every no brings me one step closer to my next yes. So if I get 15, well, then my next yes won't be far away, which also turned out to be true.
And that is, I think, super important, because even if you just try and starting out with this, it's like putting yourself out there and asking and trying and offering your services is the very first step that you need to take in order to actually find your first clients. Because if you just sit at home, if you don't publish anything, if you don't ask anyone, if you don't offer your services anywhere, you're not going to get any clients. And this might be the painful way, but it sure as hell worked.
Oh, sure.
And so if I was in his situation, normally that would have discouraged me and then I would have never tried it again, right? But what happened the next time?
Yeah, so only about 10 days later, I thought, well, if this theory should be right, then I should perhaps just go out again. And by chance, actually, I was in my hometown, and I thought, oh, I've actually already asked everywhere. But then thought, why not just try? You know, why not give it a try? And I went into 3 shops, and I closed 2 deals. So that was an amazing feeling.
For me, it's really funny to hear, because most of the jobs that I've gotten, or many of them, were either I direct mailed someone, or people reached out to me, but I never would walk into a store asking people that, hey, you want to hire me for something? That's what I find very courageous. And even if it might not work, it still says something for yourself that you make that commitment and that you try it, and that you give yourself the chance for succeeding. Because you can in your head already say no for the client, but you might not even know that they actually will say yes, which is exactly what happened.
That's exactly the thing, because those were 2 shops that I knew them very well, but I thought all the time, no, they won't need anything. You know, I was like giving up before I had even tried. The weirdest thing is, every shop that has actually paid me was always the shop where I thought, oh, probably not.
And by chance, we were just walking along a couple of cafes, and he said that, oh, normally if that's like a store like this, I would just go in and try it and see if it works.
Oopsie, let's give it a try.
Well, challenge accepted. So there goes Adam. Adam goes towards the cafe store, and they're walking in. Let's walk over and see what he's actually doing.
What can I tell you? What can I do for you to tell me that you're into me too?
Okay, so just to prove that point and to give him the credit for it, he actually went in and asked for it. And how did it turn out?
All right, so they said, yeah, just leave your number and we might contact you. But like from experience, that's basically a no.
And how does that feel?
It's all right. It's fine. I'm completely all right with it. I think it's very hard at the beginning. And if you know that you're on a long run, the first couple can be really hard. But as I knew that this is like going to be just one-off, it's fine.
And after all, from my point of view, he gave himself the chance of succeeding with it, went ahead and tried it, and that's the important thing. Hope seeing something like this gives you the courage that you should actually might go out and try something like this as well.
Now, how did you get your first client?
So for me, I actually tried it a little bit different, and that's maybe interesting for you to hear another option if you don't feel like walking into a store and just be that creepy person and actually say, hey, I want to take pictures of you, because it is a bit creepy.
It is, yeah.
What I did in the beginning, I figured out individual people, like people that were producing YouTube videos, YouTube vlogs in particular, and really thought about what could help them. What could I offer to help them? And that's, for example, exactly like in a situation now where what you can offer to me is take pictures, and that's super valuable for me because I don't have anyone taking pictures of me for my Instagram. That, of course, is super easy to reach out to someone like me or someone else, even if you're doing it for a collab or for a potential client. If you really figure out what people need and then send them a DM offering exactly that. That's always the way I did it, and that was a lot less creepy for me to do.
Yeah, sure. I get where you come from. Yeah.
In the end, the most important thing nowadays is that people usually want to see some sort of your work before they ever hire you. So if you have any sort of portfolio, like an Instagram, like a YouTube, like a Vimeo, any of that stuff always helps if you have reference work that you can show, and then go out there, get in contact with people, send them a DM, walk into their store, send them an email, try and call them on the phone, and that's how you get your first clients. It's really that way. And I get the question so often, like, Flo, how do I get my first client? It's exactly that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The truth just is that most people then don't want to get in that uncomfortable situation that you actually put yourself out to get a no or no response at all. And that, unfortunately, if you want to become a content creator, if you want to do this photo, video work, then sorry to say, but you will get a lot of no's and you will get a lot of dead silence if you reach out to people, and that's what you'll have to learn. And then you can choose if you either try it his way or you try it my way. I think that's the important thing for you to take away from today's video. We're gonna continue make a little bit of a photo shoot. Super cool that you came here to stop by and tell your story, Adam.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Let's continue shooting photos.
What can I tell you? What can I do for you to tell me that you're into me too? Could be a
So, and now I think like 1 or 2 hours of taking pictures later, that concludes our session. Really hope that it was helpful and gives you a kick in the ass to hear Adam's story, because I think many of you who aspire to become a content creator as well, that's exactly what you need to do. We're now heading home and recording a video for Adam's channel actually, so since he did such a good job in putting himself out there, taking part in the challenge, I would really want you to go down on his channel, link's gonna be somewhere there below, and then hopefully on your channel there's already gonna be the video that we'll
Oh yeah, sure.
So check that one out, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
So come on, let's go for a ride.